Almost every town has a public library. This building was modeled after a Greek temple and dedicated on October 4th, 1904. It was a gift given to the town by two sisters, Lydia Ray Pierce and Annie Ray Thayer. They dedicated this magnificent library in memory of their parents, Joseph Gordon Ray and Emily Rockwood Ray. Now, the Ray family lived in Franklin during the late 1800s. They had built a fortune operating felt, cotton, and woolen mills, as well as a light and power company here in Franklin. They were well known for their generosity. In addition to the library, the Ray family also donated the fire station and a school to the town, as well as their homes to Dean College. Annie's primary home was Thayer House, an elegant mansion that was on the corner of West Street and West Central. It was willed to Dean College and converted to a dormitory. This home was lost to fire in 1995. During her life, Annie also resided briefly in the White Mansion on the corner of Main and Emmons Streets. A mansard roof tops this elegant Victorian. This home was willed to Dean College and is presently being used as administrative offices. Here we see a photograph of Lydia's elaborate Italian palace, as it was known. It was originally a twin to Annie's home next door, but Lydia had it completely renovated in the late 1800s. She had taken a trip to Italy, where she was enchanted with Italian architecture and style. Balloon construction was used in the renovation and ultimately contributed to its downfall. The home was lost to fire in 1997. Dean College's new dormitory stands on this site today. Commissioned Henry Hammond Gallison to design the library. In addition to being a fine architect, Gallison was also a well-known landscape artist. The firm of Rand and Skinner managed the construction work. The building closely adheres to Greek architectural design. The exterior of the building is a pink granite that came from the Stevens Ledge of the Milford Quarry in Milford, New Hampshire. When the addition to the left was built in 1987, the quarry owners were convinced to excavate the stone from the long closed ledge so the addition would blend in. Gazing up at the entryway, we see both Doric and Ionic columns. The planar-looking columns draped with flags are Doric. The Ionic columns hug the doorway. They have carved spiral scrolls called volutes on their capitals. The pediment over the entryway typifies Greek architecture. The row of windows has geometric grillwork. These windows provide light into the building and add to the aesthetics. Looking up toward the roofline, we have what is known as egg and dart pattern. This egg and dart design is seen frequently on older public buildings and courthouses. Above that, we have dental molding, which looks like teeth. A series of half-round emblems surround the roof, and the roof itself is made of copper. Looking to the right of the building, there's a low granite wall stepping down to a Corinthian column. This column happens to serve as a lamppost. Corinthian columns are more decorative than Doric or Ionic. They were used in later Greek architecture and decorated with acanthus leaves at the top. Acanthus is a plant that grows in the Mediterranean region. In December of 1999, the Friends of the Franklin Library generously donated this beautiful sign to the town for the library.
My name is Bob Brown. I'm with the Friends of the Franklin Library, and we are a library support group. We raise funds and purchase materials that generally fall outside of the scope of the Franklin Library budget. We also provide the programming that occurs here at the Franklin Public Library that's offered free of charge for adults and children throughout the year. One of our major goals is to try and expand the appeal that the library has. There's always book readers. What we're looking to attract are people that may not ordinarily step inside a library.
Esty, and I'm the voice behind the tour. I hope you're enjoying this visit today to the oldest public library in the nation. As we enter the foyer, known as Memorial Hall, note the heavy bronze doors, again decorated with the egg and dart pattern. Facing us in Memorial Hall is a bronze plaque memorializing Joseph and Emily Ray. The Latin phrase toward the bottom of the plaque reads, "How sweet the memory." Memorial Hall measures 20 by 62 feet, including the area beyond the wooden wall. The wall was placed there in the late 1980s to provide a separate periodical room. This wall has raised a bit of controversy over the years. To an extent, it does compromise the magnificence of Memorial Hall. However, it also creates a little alcove for catching up on the latest newspapers or magazines. Some of the walls in Memorial Hall and the Ionic columns are pink marble. The lighting fixtures on the wall are original. Notice the raised letters RM for Ray Memorial. This is just one example of the incredible love, thought, and detail that went into this library. Turning toward the entry door, these walls resemble a grass cloth that was originally dark green. They were painted this lighter color during the renovation work of the late 1980s. The floor is brick in a herringbone pattern. Henry Hammond Gallison, who also served as the architect for this building, did the paintings on each side of the doorway. This painting is titled "The City." It is a Grecian city surrounded by a high wall with mountains in the distance and flowing water. The morning sky shines in the distance. The companion piece is called "The Past," showing a ruined Greek temple on a lake with the mountains extending into the distance. Please note the detailed frames on these paintings, complete with bead and rope and bead molding. Down a short flight of stairs is another Gallison piece. It is titled "Morning" and depicts a riverside village with water flowing and breaking over rocks. These steps lead to a landing area with built-in marble benches. The ceiling over this area is glass, allowing additional light into the building. Looking up toward the ceiling in Memorial Hall is a 5-panel mural along the frieze painted by Tommaso Juglaris. Juglaris was born in Turin, Italy in 1844 and was trained at the National Art Academy there. He worked on the murals for this building over the course of 3 years, both in Italy and Cape Ann at Gallison's studio. This mural represents the hours of the day in accordance with Greek mythology. This panel represents the morning hours. In the center is the chariot of the sun, drawn by 4 white horses. Prudence accompanies Phoebus with her mirror and Fortune with her wheel. The figure of the morning star precedes the chariot, and dawn is seen with rosy wings and robes. 2 figures with flying robes proclaim the coming of the day. The same jewel tones, which characterize all the panels, are repeated in the robes. Over the stairs is the panel representing the hours of labor. On the left of the panel is the figure of agriculture wearing green robes and holding an urn. Beside her, 2 figures representing chemistry with fire and retort are watching the vapor rise. The figures of history with a book and science with mathematical instruments are